Sometimes, within the quietest souls, a fire burns that has yet to ignite. Sometimes, the voice that changes the world doesn't come as a roar, but as a whisper from the heart. We live in a world that often values appearance over depth, strength of the body over the power of the spirit. But true strength lies within you, amid nature, between the leaves, the winds, and the endless sky. Truths are hidden. Truths we humans understand not through facts, but through stories. Stories about animals, yet not just about them, but about ourselves. This is the story of a bird who discovered that true power lies not in the wings, but in the belief in flight. Among the trees, the winds, and the endless skies, truths are hidden. Truths we often only understand through stories. Stories not just about animals, but about ourselves. This is the tale of a small bird who discovered that the real power was not in his wings, but in his belief that he was born to fly. In a misty, hidden valley where the sun rarely touched the ground, there lived a group of birds. They had wings, but they hadn't flown in generations. Their ancestors once soared across skies, but over time, the art of flying was forgotten, replaced by jumping from branch to branch, and no one asked anymore, "Why do we have wings?" Among them was a quiet little bird named Rova. He didn't speak much. He didn't play often. But each night, when the fog faded and a single star blinked through the darkness, Rova would stare at the sky and feel something, a longing, not for a place or a person, but for something within himself. The elders always told him, "The sky is cold. It's not meant for us. Flying is dangerous. Safety is here among the leaves." And Rova listened, or at least he pretended to believe, but in his heart a small voice whispered, "Maybe I was made for more." It all began on a stormy day. Fierce winds howled through the valley, uprooting trees and tossing branches like feathers. Rova had taken shelter on one of the tallest trees, and that tree was the first to fall. Swept away by the wind, Rova was tossed far beyond the valley, far from anything he had ever known. When he opened his eyes, there were no nests, no familiar birds, only open sky and silence. But this silence didn't frighten him. It invited him. That night, the wind brushed against his wings gently, not like a slap, but like a whisper. And for the first time, he fully stretched his wings. He didn't fly, but he decided to stay, to learn, to listen, to try. Days passed. Rova met other birds, mountain doves, cliff finches, and an old eagle named Oris. Oris was the only one who still flew. He bore scars on his wings and wisdom in his eyes. When Rova shared his doubts, Oris smiled gently and said, "Flying doesn't begin with wings. It begins with the courage to fall." And so Rova began. Day after day, he leapt. He fell. He got hurt. He cried. He healed. But each night, the voice in his heart grew stronger. "I'm not broken. I'm becoming." One evening, just as the sun dipped below the mountains and the breeze turned soft and warm, Rova stood at the edge of a tall rock. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and leapt. The wind caught him, not for long, not high, not far, but just enough to make his heart sing. He flew, even if just for a moment. And that moment was everything. He realized he had lived in a cage built from fear, a cage others helped build. But the key had always been inside him. Months passed. Rova grew stronger, wiser, calmer, but his heart still longed for those little birds in the valley, the ones who had never even tried to fly. So he returned, not quietly. He stood tall on the highest branch and sang, "We are birds, not just because we have wings, but because we are meant to fly. If you've fallen, it doesn't mean you can't rise. It means you're learning how to." Some laughed, some turned away, but one little chick opened her wings that night, and the next morning she followed Rova. Before long, the foggy valley no longer held just echoes. It echoed with wings. Moral of the story: if you were raised in the shadows, it doesn't mean the sun wasn't meant for you. If you've never flown, maybe it wasn't your wings that failed, but your belief in them. And if you've fallen, maybe that fall was where you were meant to meet yourself. The power you seek is within you, and when you awaken it, no valley, no fear, no voice can stop your flight.